May 3rd, 2017, in Cullman, Alabama, 38-year-old Jason Crawford places a 911 call stating that his wife is shot. 32-year-old Tiffiney Crawford was slumped over inside her minivan. This is Hold My Sweet Tea. Hey y'all, I'm Pearl.
And I'm Holly.
And this morning, I woke up, looked to my right, and said, I knew you'd be left behind. Yet here we all are.
Yep, it was the Rapture 2025.
And I'm still here.
I haven't heard any reports of anybody leaving this planet.
Yeah, no one's vanished.
I didn't see anybody floating through the sky this morning. And I'm not trying
or
to...
Or any pile of clothes on the ground somewhere.
Random piles of... That's what should have done last night. Just put random piles of clothes here and there and just went with it. That would have been the greatest.
Set it up.
And I'm not picking on anybody's religion at all. You do you.
But it keeps happening. Keep getting told.
Right.
It's tomorrow.
We lived through,
it's this year.
Remember
Y2K.
And then the Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
I grew up in a very Baptist household. You grew up Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we heard about this.
Catholics are witches.
Yeah. Catholics are witches.
So is that's the rumor.
But, this was kind of drilled into your head as a child and as, going to church, it's coming, this is going to happen, and you don't know when it's going to happen. So, for somebody to claim...
People predicting they know.
That they know.
Yeah, predicting it and acting like they know.
And getting people riled up and stuff.
You're not going to know.
No, you're not going to know.
No one's going to know.
Nope. Nobody.
So, we're all here.
Yep, we're all
Hi,
here.
Guys.
Hello, and welcome to our podcast. What are we getting into today? Because that introduction was quite riveting.
Yeah, we're Alabama-ing it.
Alabama.
Good old Alabama. Sweet home.
Alabama.
Sweet home to many, many people.
Sweet home, but every time, we would have an LSU-Bama game, we would say, fuck you, Alabama.
Yeah.
Not sweet home, Alabama. No. That's how we would sing it. Potty mouth this morning.
So, yeah, we're going to talk about the murder of Tiffiney Crawford, which was speculated as to whether or not it was actually a murder or if it were suicide. In the end,
okay,
someone is in jail for it. So,
well,
there we have it. I just told you the whole thing. We don't need to be here now.
Bye. See you later.
Just kidding. So, as said in the introduction, on May 3rd, 2017, Jason Crawford calls 911 and he says, my wife is shot. The normal questions are asked by the dispatcher. Is she breathing?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Who did it?
Did she shoot herself?
All the things. And it seems like all the info they try to get up front while dispatching emergency services isn't really being relayed back to them. So, of course, they're like, what happened? He just keeps repeating, she's shot.
Yeah.
She's shot. Sounds super calm the whole time he's responding.
Right.
And, they're like, who did it? He doesn't say anything. It's silence. So she moves on to the next question. And Is she breathing? Well, I don't know. I'm trying to move her so I can see, and still doesn't answer.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's dead. I don't know. It's like just whatever. And then she's like, well, did she shoot herself? And still no answer to that question. And then she's just letting him know, the police are on their way. The ambulance is on the way. All of that. Because she doesn't really know. Is she sending just police and this person is dead? Or is she sending help for this person? Because he's not really giving her a lot. So when the deputies arrive, they see Tiffiney slumped over in her van. She's in the driver's seat. And in her left hand was a pink revolver. Jason told police that Tiffiney kept the revolver in her driver's side door and that it was for like personal protection, because the world we live in.
Yes.
It's an understandable thing to feel like you need to protect yourself wherever you go.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So one of the deputies tries to check for a pulse and couldn't find one, but during him trying to check her for a pulse, you can hear, because there's a ton of body cam footage and everything else out there. So
I like when that happens, because then you can kind of get
and you
can
hear the clunk clunk of something falling, and so it's the gun falling out of her hand. Of course, they also are asking, so what happened tonight? Jason explains that they had a disagreement and they were talking when she was on her way home. He wouldn't let her in the house. So he had gone inside to get her some stuff, like her work clothes or whatever that she needed. And he tells them that the last thing he remembers is she said that she loved me, and I was going in the house. I heard a shot, a scream, and then another shot. You don't like that, Holly?
Okay, I have a question.
Sure.
Was the gun in her left hand or her right hand?
Left hand. I said left hand, yeah. Yeah.
But and she was in the driver's seat.
And she's in the driver's seat.
And the gun was in the passenger side.
No, it was in the driver's side.
Oh, it was in the driver's. Okay.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
Everything's on this left side.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay. I'm just getting it straight. There we go.
And this, just to continue on with the left-sidedness of everything, Tiffiney had 2 gunshot wounds to her head. When the paramedics arrived, they did still try to revive her, but were unsuccessful. And Jason stated that it made him feel sick to his stomach when they told him she was dead. One of the deputies on the scene felt like this is an obvious suicide. There's no blood on Jason. Oh, she killed herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
He determined that just by looking at the thing. Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also realized during this time that Jason Crawford is the son of an office manager who worked for the sheriff's office.
Okay.
So they let the sheriff, Matt Gentry, know that the victim was Rhonda Crawford's daughter-in-law and that it appeared she had shot herself. Deputies noted that there was no blood on Jason, like I said, and while they search her van and take any evidence they find in there that they feel like is necessary, because they're going to look at this, like look at the scene like it's a crime, like it's a homicide. So they say. But they don't ever actually take the van itself. They just take pictures of the van, take some stuff they think's important inside the van. They don't do any GSR tests on Jason. They don't search his house. They don't do any of that.
Oh, no.
Rhonda, Jason's mother,
Mm-hmm.
just so we're staying on track here, calls Tiffiney's mother herself to tell her that her daughter is dead. Of course, she immediately wants to talk to Jason. because, I mean, he's the last person to see her daughter alive, the last person to talk to her, the last person for everything. So she's like, you know, can I talk to Jason? And she's like, well, no, because he's busy talking to the cops. So, you know, she just couldn't at that point. So she's just worried about her grandkids at this point. She's like, oh my God. And Jason and Tiffiney had been married for a little more than 6 years. And they had a 5-year-old son and a 4-year-old daughter together. But Jason also had a 14-year-old son from a previous marriage. The kids were at home, just steps away from all of this. The 2 youngest were asleep through the entire thing. The 14-year-old was awake, but in his room. Tiffiney's mother, her name is Cheryl, told 48 Hours in CBS News, David Begnod, that her daughter had a huge heart and just wanted to really help everyone around her. She said that in her spare time, Tiffiney had actually created a Facebook group called Mothers Helping Mothers. And this group gave moms like an outlet so they could talk to each other about issues they're having. If they're stressed out, you know, just get some support and even share like everyday joy with others. Like just trying to have an all around good reach out and help other
women
group. So it was really hard for anyone to believe that she would kill herself when all she ever did was try to help other people, and felt like she would reach out for help if she were really, truly struggling. I mean, the group itself grew like really fast and included mothers all over the United States. So it wasn't even just like in her
local
area.
Yeah. And the fact that he said, you can't come in the house over an argument.
But he doesn't disclose that night what their argument was about at all.
But that's her house. She is allowed in that house.
Oh, absolutely.
There's no way you can say, no, you can't come in here.
Right. And in which instance, me being me, I would have called the cops and been like, hey, having a little bit of a disagreement with my husband right now, and he's not allowing me into my house where my children are, where all of my belongings are. Like, I'm going to need some help.
Right. My name is on the house, on the address, everything. Like, I'm going in the house.
Yeah. But none of that actually ever happened. So he went inside to get her work clothes and all this.
Was he going to?
He was telling her she had to go somewhere else.
No, over an argument. Okay.
And I'm going to tell you about the argument soon.
Can't wait.
So, to better understand where some of the suspicion could arise where Jason is concerned, we should talk about how Jason and Tiffiney's relationship began. When Jason started dating Tiffiney, he had been divorced for several years. He claimed that his first wife had cheated on him. Ironically, Tiffiney was married when she and Jason met. She would eventually get her divorce and immediately marry Jason and start their life and their family together. So I'm like, you just got cheated on and now you're the other man.
Right. You're doing what the other one did. Like,
yeah, a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
You just divorced somebody for that. And now, okay, like what makes you better? So while everything that happened that night seemed to point to suicide, the argument Jason decides probably is going to need explaining, but he's trying to avoid it. But instead of just going, oh, this is what we fought about, instead he says, well, you know, Tiffiney was seeing a counselor recently. And I'm pretty sure she talked to her counselor when she was on the way here. Because I got into her computer and I saw some messages between her and her counselor. Like, he's trying to set up this whole picture that she's depressed. She's whatever.
He's trying to spin it his way because he's the only voice at this point, so he can say what he wants.
And her friends just keep on insisting, like I said, that she wasn't in such a bad way that she would have hurt herself at all. They're like, we don't believe that could ever be a thing. And I mean, of course, her mom also doesn't believe that her daughter would kill herself. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, this is her son-in-law, and she doesn't believe for a second that he would do something to her like this either. You know, she's like, gosh, like what could have happened? She doesn't believe either story. You know, it's kind of just up in the air for her. Mm-hmm. So Sheriff Matt Gentry admits that while it did appear to be a suicide, it was a little odd that there were 2 shots. It's not common, but they've seen it before. Yeah. So, but they're still like suspicious because of the the 2 shots. Yeah. The 2 wounds sustained in this shooting were on her left jaw area, so lower on her face. And the other was to her left temple. The sheriff also said that due to Jason's mother's connection to the sheriff's office, they would make sure an autopsy's done. And like I said, they would investigate like it was a homicide rather than a suicide, just because they don't want people to go, oh, you just swept this under the rug because he's related to someone who works there.
But they basically did. They didn't even test his hands for gun residue.
Basically, right. So searching the van and seizing what evidence was in there, like I said before, that they thought would be pertinent to their case, they decide the next morning that maybe it's best if they turn the case over to the Alabama State Bureau of Investigations. So Sheriff Gentry wants to ensure that there's full transparency and avoid any potential conflict of interest. So he's like, here, take this because she works here and it's a bad idea for us. Yes. But they've already started this, so it's like, So Joe Parrish is the agent who takes over. And he immediately wanted the van.
Right, as
the scene of the incident. Yes. He wants the van. So he gets a warrant for the van. But, like I said before, it had already been released to the family less than 24 hours post-death. So, not only had it been released to Jason's family, it had already been cleaned.
Oh my, I knew that was coming. It's still like 24 hours later.
Yeah. So they literally tell the investigators, we got permission from the sheriff's office to go on and clean it because I didn't want my kids to see this.
But you didn't grieve her death. You didn't try to process her death. You didn't try to prepare your kids to process the death. You cleaned a van.
Yeah. So the sheriff also defends his own decision, saying that while they worked it like a homicide by taking photos and taking all the evidence out, it was still treated like a suicide, which is why the van was released. Because that's what it looked like. Mm-hmm. So semantics. Yeah. At that point. Worked like a homicide, treated like a suicide. Okay. The van will actually become a really big deal to investigators, and so would the reason the couple had been arguing. So those 2 things, the argument, the van, very important, 2 pieces. Okay. In this van, when they get it back, despite it being cleaned, they find the holster to her gun. And it's important to note that this is a right-handed holster. Okay. Not left-handed. Right-handed holster. Something to just keep in your brain.
Yes.
For later.
That's why I was getting the scene when you started. I'm like, left, right, what are we doing? Okay.
So Jason starts telling investigators that Tiffiney had started kind of changing. Like, she was acting different. She was standoffish. She was distant. Just things were not like they used to be. And she started drinking a lot. He's telling them, she'd have a glass of wine or 2 here and there. every once in a while, but never anything major. But now she's drinking like 2 to 3 whole bottles of wine in a week. Just chugging.
Well, literally, there's 4 glasses in a bottle of wine.
Yeah, so she's drank 12 glasses of wine in 7 days.
Wow, that's so many.
So he just felt like something was up. And that night, as she's on her way home, she's talking to her mom and a friend on the phone. But then Jason finds messages in her computer, not counselor messages that suggest she was cheating. This happened just hours before her arrival home that night that she died. So he calls her and confronts her via the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And she denies it, tells him she doesn't know what he's talking about, whatever, just brushes it off. But the fact of the matter is she gets off the phone with him, calls her mom back, and she had actually told her mom that she and Jason were going to need to sort some things out tonight, and confided in her mother about the affair. Cheryl had told CBS News that her daughter didn't sound like she was worried. She just sounded more anxious than anything else. And she just told her that she loved her and to be careful. Right. That was it. Like, I don't think she thought anything major was going to come from it. Maybe the little argument. Yeah. They might split up, whatever. Tiffiney had also confided in a friend that she had plans to leave Jason. She had even gotten a job at a local store to save up money for a life on her own. So she's not like leaving him for another person. Mm-hmm. She wants to just go be her by herself. Well, maybe, I mean, obviously she's probably going to take her kids, but you know what I'm saying. Like, she's not trying to like jump from this relationship into another one like she did last time.
Yes.
Her friend told CBS that she knew about the affair and that Tiffiney was really close to having what she needed to leave. She said she wanted to leave before Jason found out, but that didn't happen. So when she arrives home, Jason confronts her again and would not let her in the house. This is why he won't let her in, because, you know, she's cheated on him.
Right.
She's just made a mockery of their marriage and so disrespectful.
Yeah.
Whatever. So Jason told CBS he was angry, but not out of control.
You wouldn't let her back in the house.
He says their argument lasted more than an hour. And during that whole time, he never let her inside the house.
So did they argue outside?
So they argued outside.
In the van?
Outside, in the van, wherever. But he never let her inside the house. Never let her go in.
Did they have neighbors?
I'm not sure of the setup there.
So I didn't know if anybody else heard. Because, you know, my neighbors be arguing. I'm like out there vacuuming my lawn, listening. I'm like, ooh, you did what?
Right. So he's saying at her request, he went inside to get her stuff so that she could leave and go stay somewhere else. And that's when we circle back to what he told the police, that at that point he went in the house, heard the shot, heard the scream, heard another shot. And he says at that point he turned right back around and went out the door. He, like I said, never mentioned anything about the subject of the argument that entire first night. So this is all new to investigators because they had no idea.
Well, and they probably didn't ask either because they didn't even treat him as a suspect.
No, they surely did not. So he gets asked about the door on the van. Was it opened or closed? And he says that it was closed. And Investigator Parrish is like super surprised to hear how cool and calm and collected this 911 call is. Like, stuff's just weird. He also noticed that in the 911 call, every time the dispatcher asked, "Who shot your wife?" he wouldn't answer at all.
Right.
And then, like I said, asked if she shot herself, still didn't answer. And his explanation for that is he just froze.
Likely excuse. But also, if the gun is in your left hand and you are shooting yourself in the jaw, there's going to be a little kickback. There's a window, a door there.
Yeah, you know? There is a window and door there.
I mean, you're holding the gun. Would it, like, hit the window? Did they take, like, the ballistics where how it went in? Did it go straight in? Did it go up? Did it go... I mean, I have all those questions.
All the questions. The autopsy takes a year.
Oh, my.
Because of a backlog.
Wow.
But in the meantime, we're going to continue to talk about Jason.
So they just kept her on ice for a year?
Pretty dang much.
Dang.
Crazy stuff. So, for the reasons of the way the 911 call went down, all that stuff, and then them knowing that he says the door was shut, blah, 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 Investigator Parrish is like, you know what? I really just need to bring him back in because I need to talk to this guy. So, Jason admits to saying some really terrible things to Tiffiney that night during their argument, and he states he wanted her to hurt emotionally the way she was hurting him after he discovered what was going on. Parrish asked a very important question here. He asked him, was Tiffiney right-handed or left-handed? And Jason says, well, she was right-handed. He's like, right-handed.
Right-handed.
Like reconfirming.
Like the holster.
And he said, yes, right-handed. So, again, here's another situation where someone has, like, it has happened before that someone has killed themselves using their non-dominant hand. But Parrish himself says, I've never personally dealt with a case where that had happened, but apparently it has happened before. So it's unlikely, but here we sit, right-handed holster, which is why he asked, what hand is her dominant hand? He admits to Parrish also that Tiffiney had never spoke of wanting to hurt herself, at least not to him. So, are you trying to help prove it's a suicide or not?
Well, I think he's...
with that statement.
He's trying to, like, spin the narrative again. Like...
the wishy-washiness of this situation.
Well, you know, she never talked about hurting herself. I just don't know why she would do this. Yeah.
So Agent Parrish decides that he's going to ask Jason if he would be willing to take a polygraph. And he tells him, yeah, sure, I'll take it. So he leaves, goes home, comes back to take his polygraph later, at a later date, because those things have to be scheduled.
Right.
When he comes back and takes this polygraph, sits back down with the investigators, they tell him, you failed. They asked this man every which way from Sunday the same question over and over again in very different ways. Yes. Basically, did you kill your wife? Use her name. Did you shoot your wife in the head? Did you? He's saying no to all of this, but they say it was off the rails. Crazy. Failed. And when they tell him this, he gets angry and he's like, I don't have to stay here, so I'm leaving. And literally the investigators are like, he's like screaming at him. Like, he's like, walk out that effing door, you know, because he's pissed now because he's refusing to engage with them any further past this point. And, of course, they're speculating that, if you were innocent, you'd stay.
Right. You would stay. You wouldn't get mad and get up and leave.
Yeah. So
you would try to prove your innocence.
He's darted.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, after that big long year of a backlog, the autopsy results are finally in. Manner of death? Homicide.
Yep.
This pushes investigators to go ahead and present their case to a grand jury. Tiffany's mom was having a hard time still believing that her daughter would commit suicide, but at the same time could not imagine her son-in-law would have been the one to shoot her. So she's not really a lot of help in this situation because she doesn't really know what to believe. But the district attorney said that he couldn't figure out who else would have done it.
Yeah, I mean, who else would have run up there and shot her and took off? Nobody. And put the gun in her hand? Nobody.
Right. He's saying, where motive is concerned, Jason would be the only one they knew that would have one.
And they just argued about her cheating, and
he's been cheated on before.
Right. And he was the other guy before.
Yeah. So the grand jury would indeed indict Jason. He would then turn himself in on May 21st, 2018, and he was obviously arrested on the spot, but he didn't spend a whole lot of time in jail. He was released on a $100,000 property bond. So back to autopsy.
Yeah, I know. I'm waiting for this.
Dr. Valerie Green is the medical examiner that conducted Tiffany's autopsy. She explains to CBS News that the absence of gunpowder particles and lack of abrasions around the gunshot wounds on the left temple would suggest that the shot would have had to have been fired from a minimum of 10 inches away from her head.
Mm-hmm.
10 inches in a car with the door shut.
With the door on your left
on
side.
The left side.
In your non-dominant hand.
Yes. 10 inches. So, she's like telling them to imagine holding your arm out to get the gun positioned beyond 10 inches. Right. To shoot yourself. Could it be done? Probably, but it's highly unlikely.
But also when you're, I would imagine, and I've seen plenty of things and read plenty of things, you're going to put the gun to your jaw. You're going to put the gun to your temple, not hold it 10 inches away and just hope it shoots the right spot.
Exactly. And especially when you consider he told them that door was shut.
Yes.
He said it.
Yep.
So he's already eliminated a bunch of space right there.
If it was her right, maybe so.
Yeah.
You had plenty of space.
Left hand.
Yep.
That's where the gun was found.
And also, the scream, the shot. If you shot yourself in the jaw first, I don't think you could open your jaw enough to get out a scream, but then why would you go ahead and shoot yourself again?
Right.
Because you're in agonizing pain already.
Exactly. So this whole scenario would be very, very difficult in that small space. Mm-hmm. And neither wound was a contact wound. Neither one.
Yeah.
So that gun was never pressed against her skin in either spot. Dr. Green also remembers seeing photos from the van, and there was no blood on the inside door panel, not on the top part or the bottom, no blood on the window on the driver's side either.
Because if you're 10 inches away, there's going to be some blowback spray.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Blood spatter somewhere on that window.
There's none. It is her belief that this means the door was open. And the reason it was open is because her killer was standing there.
Yeah. Grabbed the gun, more than likely with his right hand, out of the door pocket and pop.
Yeah. So even with this indictment, Tiffany's mom continues to support her son-in-law.
Mm.
She does not have any details on what has occurred. None. Sadly, she also doesn't really go to court for any of this because she doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to have to know the details of her daughter's death.
Your daughter's dead. You have to process it and deal with it.
Yeah. It would take 4 years before the case would go to trial. And during that time, naturally, the defense gets their own medical examiner who obviously is going to disagree with the other one. And he's still over here saying suicide. And in November of 2022, trial begins. Cheryl is only there the first day, and she's the very first witness that the prosecution calls because they think they're gonna get something from her because she's the victim's mother. She's gonna be on our side. But they're really surprised because she tells the court and jurors that she has a good relationship with Jason.
Come on, Cheryl. This is your daughter.
Yeah.
Who spent a year in a freezer and you couldn't even bury her.
Yeah. Then there was some DNA analysis who testified that there was minimal DNA on the revolver, but that the DNA that was there was male DNA, not female DNA. They said there wasn't enough, though, to use for comparison, so she just concludes that the gun must have been wiped and placed in her hand.
Oh, yeah.
The defense would take a risk and allow Jason to testify on his own behalf. And at one point, he lost his cool and argued with the prosecutor. So, obviously, he's showing the jury his short temper.
Yep.
At one point, he even admitted to calling Tiffiney a degrading name the night she died, and says he feels bad because he feels like that must have pushed her over the edge.
Mm-hmm. Just like he lost his temper with the police and the investigator and all that stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So November 18th, 2022, the jury is deliberating, and they really don't know. They're like, I don't know if this guy is guilty or not. They're like, sitting back there talking to each other, just not knowing what to do. So they ask to see the body cam footage from the police.
Yeah, so they can kind of assess the scene.
And then they say, can we also get that 911 call, please? So they can re-listen to all of that. 20 minutes later, they come back with a guilty verdict. Now, Tiffiney's mom was there for the verdict and just couldn't believe it. Whatever. She was a little bit sad about it. Still pretty hard at insisting she doesn't believe he would do something like that. Yeah. But that's when CBS News decides to offer her the opportunity to see if she wants, only if she wants, because they know she didn't go to court because she didn't want to listen to all this and didn't want to hear it.
Right.
But if you'd like to, we can provide you with the public record, what's on public record. So you can actually see this and then decide for yourself how you feel after that. So while she's reviewing all this, they're talking to the jurors and finding out what it is that kind of pushed them that way. And there were the things about him, the same things that interested investigators when they first started listening and watching body cam footage. They were like, him not answering the dispatcher.
Yes.
When she asked who shot her or if she shot herself, and just being completely silent. And then the body cam footage, and then being able to see that the gun is in her hand and she drops it, mixed with his answer to the police, where's the gun? And he says, it's laying beside her. And they said, it's laying beside her? Yeah, it's laying beside her. It was in her hand.
Yeah.
Those are small things that made the jury go, nope, he's definitely guilty.
Yeah, because you put it in her hand after.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's you.
And the sheer fact that he's telling the dispatcher that he's trying to move her so that he could see if she had a pulse or if she was breathing. And the gun never fell out of her hand then.
Right.
But literally the cop reaches in there, barely touches her, clunk, clunk.
On the floor.
Yep. So they're like,
yeah,
you're guilty. So after Cheryl sees all this stuff, her final reaction is, well, now I believe he did kill her.
Finally, Cheryl, you got it together.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So that is the angering story.
Very angry. I'm over here like, what? What? This makes no sense.
Of the terrible death of Tiffiney Crawford. Yeah, it's bad. Because I was like, immediately every other office would have been like investigating this hard-nosed, he's immediately the suspect.
Yeah.
And they didn't do that. They immediately just looked around and went, oh, it looks like a suicide to me.
Right. Because his mother worked for the police department.
And I'm like, wow. I mean, I get they did the right thing handing it over, but I feel like they were a little hesitant to do so because why didn't you just call somebody that night and be like, hey, conflict of interest here. Come take this case.
Yes.
We're going to stay and do what we can do to help you, but somebody else needs to be the head of this, not us.
Yes. And then him cleaning the van immediately. I don't want my kids to see it.
Yep.
No. You
the
were
van
trying to get rid of
it. Wasn't necessary to leave the van in your yard.
No.
But I don't know. So that was just a little bit much for me on that end. I was like, oh. I thought for sure with it being clean that they were going to be like, oh, well, whatever. We got nothing now. But finding the holster, I think, was a big deal. And then, like, just the pictures that they had taken that night of proving that there was no blood anywhere right there. Like, literally, I was like, yeah, there's no blood on the door.
And the fact that the door was closed and...
So he said, yeah. And she's going to have to be almost an entire ruler away from her head to have pulled that off. Now, his son, his 14-year-old son, did actually testify in court that he heard his dad come back in the house before the shots. Okay.
Well, he might have went in and then he went back out.
Yeah. So, I don't know. But I was like, you didn't see him. You only heard him. Okay.
But, if it was anything like my kid when he was 14 years old, you tell him like, hey, can you go get that off the counter? Where's it at?
Right.
What
counter?
What'd you tell me to get?
Yeah. How do I get to the counter?
Right. Where is the counter? Yeah.
Right. I'm not even sure I know how to open my bedroom door.
Right. Exactly.
That's how they are, for sure. So, yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah, that was a good one. You had me fired up.
Raring and ready to go. No, it's always good when there's like a bunch of questions. Yeah. And then I'm like, yes, we will answer those.
We'll answer all of those. You know who else gets fired up?
Patty Salzetta. She got fired up when we asked her to make our theme music.
Right. And it's awesome.
Yeah, that's something we can look forward to next month.
Yeah. Yes, Devil's Night. If you've ever watched The Crow, which is Pearl and I's favorite movie, and we actually got to go see the 25th anniversary.
Yeah, that was fun.
In theaters. I think we said that in our first episode, didn't we?
Yeah. Somewhere
in there, yeah.
Because we did go see it during the beginning of this podcasting venture.
Awesome. But if you've ever watched it, fire it up. Devil's Night.
Yeah. Message us.
Message us. If you're a Crow fan, message us.
Yeah.
Only Brandon Lee, though.
Yes, only Brandon Lee.
No other Crow. Nope.
I don't watch any of the other ones. I did watch the quote-unquote remake, which I'm going to tell you right now didn't feel like a remake. They should have just been like, it's another one.
Right. Yeah. I finally broke down and watched it, and
it didn't feel similar enough to make any sense to say it's a remake, but it's whatever. So, not a remake. But I am still wholeheartedly devoted and loyal to the very first Crow.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We know every word.
Yeah, I've watched it a million
and the soundtrack is like phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like one of the best soundtracks.
And it they couldn't have picked more perfect music per scene. Like it was ridiculously
and
good.
we went and seen The Cure in concert, and when
and they did Burn.
We were just like, oh, this is the best ever. Well, seeing The Cure in concert was the best ever.
Yes, that was bucket list stuff.
Huge bucket list stuff. So glad we got to see Robert Smith.
And we're welcoming you to this conversation. Like,
absolutely.
Reach out.
If you're a Cure fan. We also went and seen The Cult.
Yeah.
Like, didn't think we would ever get to do that.
Nope.
Got to see them in concert.
Driving down the road and accidentally saw a billboard and went, oh, and bought tickets.
Yep.
Like in the car immediately.
The car. You're like, I'm buying tickets.
And then I tell Holly, oh, guess what? We're going to The Cult.
Yes. And no hesitation. No hesitation. And it was the best. And we were almost like right near the stage. And it was great.
We were down there.
Yeah.
Could have got spit on.
Probably did.
Probably did. Just didn't notice.
By somebody.
Anyone. Like there were so many people in there. Yes. It was crazy. But it was really fun. Mm-hmm. So yeah. Any stuff like that, we'll take that as conversation too, even if you don't want to talk about the episode.
Pearl and I used to be the OG goth kids. Like
So talk to us.
If you're an elder emo or an OG goth kid, talk to us.
steeped@holdmysweettea.com or message us on any social media.
Absolutely.
We will answer you. You need suggestions for what to do in New Orleans on your birthday? We've done that before.
I know. I love giving those suggestions. I'm like, so you're going to want to go here first, and then you're going to want to stop here. And then you want to get food here, coffee here, go over here. Take this tour, just this tour, not the other tour, this one.
Yeah. Yeah. So
ask us.
Any of that stuff.
Yes.
We're here for it.
Absolutely. And Hold My Sweet Tea is a Drunken Bee production.
Bzzzt.
And you guys stay safe out there, please. And just because we are dipping doesn't mean you can't keep sipping.
Bye.